So arrays are groups of values that are stored in a particular order. And to access the items in an array, we will access them by their index. So when we create an array, we use var and then equals. And you'll notice that an array has the square brackets around it. That's how you know it's an array rather than just a regular variable with a string or a number in it. Each element needs to have quotes around it if it is a string or text element. If it is a number element, it does not need to. They're just separated by column or commas. So let's look at number 3. The code below will display 4 things on the screen. What do you think they will be? So if we look at the code in the bottom, it says var numbers list 40, 20, 18, 100, 30, 48, 15, and 62 are the numbers in the array. And before we were discussing how the first element in the array is 0, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So if the first one says first, and that's talking about this ID, set the text to number list 3, what is the first one going to have? What's it going to say? Nope, 18. It's the third item in, oh, you're right, sorry. 0, 1, 2, 3, 100. It's going to be 100. Thank you, Carly. What is going to happen for second? So the second one is grabbing the 0 index, which is the very first number, which is 40. The third is 4 plus 2. So what is the second index? 0, 1, 2. 3 and 4. So 30 plus 18. So 0, 1, 2. 2 and 4. 30 plus 18. So you think it's going to add them up? Okay, so Carly thinks that it might add up 0, 1, so 2 plus 4 is 6, so it's going to get the 6th item. Because there's no comma between these numbers, you're not asking for 2 separate numbers, it's adding them together. Carly says it's going to get 15. I like that idea. Third will change to 15 because it adds 4 to 2. And the 6 index is 15. And then the fourth one will change to what? Will not change. Why do you think that is? So it says 100. Is there a 100th element? Say, Carly says there's no 100th element. So because there's nothing there, nothing's going to happen. There's nothing for it to change to. So let's run it and see what happens. It even gives you an error on 5. It says set property value parameter undefined is not a UI string. So it can't do anything because that doesn't exist. I'm going to watch this video. If you're watching my video, pause this, watch the video on your own. I'm not going to play it on here. So at number 4, it says, it's just going to be practicing accessing items in a list. So right now, we have code that if you run is going to set the colors of the backgrounds of these different buttons. However, they're in the wrong order. So if you look at the color variables here and here, you have to renumber these to get them into red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So right now, I want the red button to be red. It's getting the 0, 1, 2, 3, the third color, which is green. What should it actually be getting? This should be 2. We should be going 1 back on here. All right. What about the orange button? What number is that? 0, 1. If I look at my colors, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the yellow button. So I need to change this 2 to a 5. The green is which one? It's 3, because it's the 4th element, but it starts at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Oops, sorry. I changed the wrong one. Blue, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, purple is 0. So if I reset and run, we have a rainbow . So for number 5, we're going to use the Circuit Playground this time. We're going to use the buttons on it. When the left button is pressed, it should display the day. It displays it right now if you run it as Tuesday. I fixed it last night, sorry. It displayed it as Tuesday. You have to press the left button. So to change it, it's right now, it goes to the days array and it grabs 1. So that's 0, 1. I want to make it say Thursday because today is Thursday. The left button on your Circuit Playground. 0, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to change this to 3, and now it's going to get the 3rd index. And when I run it, it should now say Thursday. So you don't have to set an exact index location. You can use random number to grab something randomly out of a list. We use that random number block, which we've used previously in the last unit where we were making games. We used the random number a lot for speed and velocity instead of using the specific number. So this program should select a random icon from a list and display it on the screen when the left button is pressed. Right now, if you run it, you should just get, they're all blue. We don't want them to be all blue. We want to select a random color from the list. So here's the colors list. Right now, it's grabbing a random icon, but it is always setting it to blue. To grab a color from here, we're going to get rid of and you can go to show blocks. Ooh, it's going to not let me show blocks, is it? Can you guys see show blocks?
Yeah, you have to click them before you start doing it.
Oh, okay. So if you go back and click show blocks before you start doing anything, you can get in the blocks mode and see that it's blue. We want to access a list item. So if we go into variables, you should now see that you have list options in here. They're at the bottom below the console.log. So the very bottom one is where we're getting an item from an array. So I'm going to pull that in where I had blue. List, you replace with the name of the list that you're looking at. The list I want here is colors. And I wanted to use a random number. So you can either type that in or go down to math and grab the random number block. And there are 0, 1, 2, 3. So it can start at 0 through 3 for the random colors. So if I reset and run, when I press, it should switch colors. It can do the same color more than once. it's only grabbing from a list of 4, and it's random. Random doesn't mean different each time. It means it's randomly picking a number each time. Number 7 is going to ask us to use some variables. It says this program is like the last one, but the icon should always match the color. Red heart, yellow star, green leaf, and blue water. It's like Lucky Charms. Cereal's amazing. You can do this using the variable myIndex. So we're going to create an index that's going to store the random number so that it can be used by both the icon and the. In the variables, you're going to want to grab from a list item. So you're going to go to variables and you're going to grab list and list. The image list we're grabbing from icons. So icons, and you want the myIndex variable. And the set property for the image icon color is the colors list, and you want it to match so that myIndex is going to be the same number. Now when you run it, refresh if it's not responding. My board is not responding, so I'm going to reset my board. And I'm going to refresh my screen. There we go. Now when I press, I should always get the same color, but when the icon changes, the color matches it. So green leaf, red heart, yellow star, blue water. They should have put the moon in there, because if we were doing Lucky Charms, we got to keep true. So 8 is going to give you a little quiz. I'm not going to answer this for you, but it says, what will AppLab display when the code on the left is run? I want you to look at the code, look at the coordinates, look at what it's putting in here, and what the set property is. Decide which of these is the correct answer. We're going to work more with the LEDs for the rest of the time today, and with these we're going to learn how to, they're stored as an array, so we can access each of the LEDs by their index value. So each LED is actually made up of 3 smaller LEDs inside of it, a green, a red, and a blue. That's why they're called RGB LEDs, because they're made up of those 3 colors, and varying amounts of each of those colors in varying intensities is what gives you the different colors that you can show in the lights. There are so many of them, so they're stored into a color LEDs array that we can then access using AppLab. So when we want to choose a specific position or specific LED, if you're looking at your circuit playground in front of your face and your cord is coming out of the top, the one that says GND right here is 0, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there's 10 LEDs starting at index 0. When you want to pick a color or choose a color, there's a couple different ways you can do it. If I choose this one right now, color LED 0, it's going to turn this first one to the color red because it says red. This one says FF0000, which is the hex value. That's for red. That's also red. This RGB is also red. 255 is the biggest number you can have, and this is the R for red. This is G and this is B. There's no green, there's no blue, it's all red. So this is the same way to represent the same number. I'm going to have you go through these on your own, and then we'll go over them together tomorrow.